Sogcast. I'm Patrick.
I'm Matt.
I'm Garrett.
And I am Nate.
We got Nate filling in for Owen again. The Mariners' record is that they are eliminated from postseason contention. They just got swept by the Astros. 18 innings to lose 1-0. Pretty sad.
A long game 3 for the L.
I was there. I got to the stadium at 9:30 in the morning. Gates opened at like 10:40, and I sat in my seat for all 18 innings. They stopped serving concessions and beer after like the 8th. That was a long time to sit there with no food, no alcohol, and no runs scored. It was a bummer.
Yeah, getting swept in the ALDS after making it there and being big brothered by the Houston Astros, who have been there for the last, feels like, decade, is rough, man. It's hard to see the Mariners fall in a place where it feels like we had a legitimate opportunity to beat up on them a little bit.
I will say, it sucks. We're all sad. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I sat in my chair and cried when the final out happened. I hung my head and I cried real man tears. And I cried. I was sad. But realistically, there's not a lot to be sad about. Yes, it was a bummer how the ALDS happened and the fact that we got swept, when realistically we were a couple pitches away from taking either one of the first two games. And this season as a whole, so many positives. So instead of being sad and downtrodden, which we all are as Mariners fans, let's take this time to just celebrate how great the season was and all the positives to look forward to next year.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, as Patrick and Matt mentioned, yeah, they all kind of felt like winnable games, which I feel like, yeah, we can sit here and be sad about, but I see that as a good thing. Like, we were in the fight the whole time. We actually were tied or leading for 30 of the 36 innings played throughout these 3 games. And yeah, they feel like winnable games, but at the same time, positive spin on it. Yeah, you're right there against realistically the best team in the AL, record-wise and on paper, and the eye test and everything.
100%. I mean, no one's doubting how good the Astros are. And the fact that the Mariners went toe-to-toe with them all 3 games, yeah, it didn't go their way, but to just, I mean, ride it out. We're probably having better series than whatever the next series is, whoever the Astros play in the next round. I'm sure the games probably won't be as close as the Mariners were. The Mariners gave them the fight of their life. And the Astros, yes, are still the better team. But the Mariners are improving. They're on the rise. And yeah, they're just looking forward, looking up. There's a lot of positives to take away from it.
Still going to be a lot of smoking and drinking on this podcast. Can you pour me a shot?
Yeah,
Thank
I'll
you.
pour you a shot.
Yeah, we got to kind of head back to game 1 here because we haven't been around for a week. We do the weekly podcast, so a lot has happened, right? We're just here Saturday at the end of the whole season where the Mariners lost this 18-inning 1-0 Jeremy Pena show thing, and we're all a little bit devastated, but we do really have to take it back to game 1 where we took it to Justin Verlander and he matched up against Logan Gilbert, because that was our best opportunity to like take one and show them that we're here for real, get our energy rolling.
I was going to say, and honestly, game 1 kind of set the tone for the series. It was a game the Mariners should have definitely won. And as we praise Scott and the bullpen, he made one of the dumbest decisions in all of sports since the Hawks passed it on the 2-yard line. To put Robbie Ray in that situation when he got shelled 2 days earlier. He gave up 4 fucking home runs 2 days.
In Toronto, yeah.
Yeah, and then to put him into a situation like that when we have such a strong bullpen. Where was Eric Swanson? Why would we not utilize him? That is the only part of this series that I'm super, super frustrated in, and it kind of set the tone for the whole thing. But that bullpen management by Scott to use Robbie Ray, in a situation like that is mind-numbingly stupid.
That was garbage, dude.
was
It
so
seems
dumb.
like Scott Service has a huge boner for Robbie Ray, and I'm fucking sick of it, dude.
Why the fuck would we have a starting pitcher go when we have so many other arms in our bullpen? Swanson hadn't pitched an inning, you know? Like, and not to mention Yordan Alvarez was hitting like 320 against left-handed pitching. You think a lefty-lefty matchup is where you want to go. You want your best power pitcher in there, most like strikeout pitcher, but like dude doesn't come out of the bullpen to save a game. Also, he's a dude who just goes up there and hucks it as hard as he can, not necessarily spots his fastball. He threw 2 dick-high fastballs to Yordan. It's like, put Swanson in there with a nasty split. We saw it happen tonight. I was so happy when Swanson was pitching to Yordan and took care of him. I was like, fuck yeah, this is what we needed. If you're going to have a lefty-lefty matchup, like, make it the right move. I don't understand. Like, even Sewald had good numbers against Yordan all year. Some would argue to leave Sewald in, but he was falling apart at that point. He'd pegged a dude. He's shaky. We needed to make a change. For me, it's Swanson.
Yeah, it absolutely should have been Swanson.
Yeah, I agree. I think it should have been Swanson, but I think more so than decision making in that aspect or in that part of the game, I think it just comes down to execution. We did fail to execute many of our guys that have stepped up this year and execute like we expect. Like, if I were to sit back and tell you, okay, we're going to pitch Munoz and Sewald with a lead, with a multi-run lead earlier in the season, you're like, yep, that game's over. We win that easy 100% of the time. Pitches weren't executed. It happens in baseball, especially in playoff baseball when you're playing the best of the best. And in that situation, yeah, Ray versus Alvarez was not a good call, but it should have never come down to Alvarez being up as the winning run. Like, you can't hit the 9-hole hitter with 2 strikes, give up a little single to Pena. I mean, credit to him, he battled or whatever for freaking stupid ass 2-strike hit, but you had him 2 strikes still.
They could have seen Bregman too. They could have just walked Alvarez, but I mean, even that's kind of a bullshit thing to do. It's just terrible bullpen management, dudes.
Yeah, it was definitely a shocking decision, and it came back to bite the Mariners in the ass. I truly believe that Scott was trying to get too cute with it and tried to overmanage, and he regressed to some of the problems that he's had in the previous years where we've had issues with bullpen management and stuff. And obviously last year he was better, and this year he was phenomenal until it was all on the line. And where it really mattered, he made a boneheaded mistake, and it ended up costing the Mariners the game and the momentum for the series.
Is that like a managerial yips for Scott Service? Because we've seen him have shaky moments and great moments, right? But like, my thing was like, putting in Ray when we have a couple weapons still out of the pen was rough to see because the dinger happened. Of course, Yordan is special. You have to give him credit, like Nate said. You have to give everyone that battled through every at-bat to make that situation happen credit. And they're a lineup and a team that never gives up. They're confident. And the Mariners are a baby version of that. We're a little, it's our first time. It's the yips. Like, we don't have the experience. We didn't stay true to the blue and do what we did all year and put our dudes in order and shut it down. Despite Yordan Alvarez being up, put in the dude that is best for the situation. Robbie Ray wasn't. It's just the end of it for me.
Yeah,
I'm not mad at Robbie. It's just that
I'm mad at Robbie.
I'm definitely mad at Robbie.
He was,
I'm mad
he
at
was
Robbie.
put in such a bad spot.
I agree. I think he was just put in a bad spot. Yeah, he didn't execute his pitch there at all. I mean, you don't leave that essentially middle. It was like kind of bottom third, but not really bottom lower left third of the strike zone. No, you don't leave that pitch to Alvarez. He just drops his bat head on it, and it goes 450 feet or whatever.
Definitely. Maybe Scott Service was thinking, hey, this worked when I put Kirby in to save the game. Probably going to work with Robbie Ray, too. And fucking nope.
That's true. We were all kind of surprised when he put Kirby in the ninth. We're like, oh, a starter coming in to close out the game? what? But that one worked out. Tried it with Ray. That one didn't work out. But yeah, I mean, Paul Sewald, even after the game, said, yeah, I mean, it was my job to not let Ray come up in that situation. Like, my job should have been done.
That's true, too.
It's just execution.
It's like the ball's slippery because Castillo and Sewald, both the dudes with the lowest arm angles, like let some balls slip hard and like nailed dudes with 2 strikes. Both of those guys had they combined hit maybe 4 batters with 2 strikes on most of those at bats.
Well, I could definitely say watching Paul Sewald pitch in when he hit that batter in the ninth, his arm angle was all messed up. His mechanics were wrong. He was releasing early,
Out of sorts.
Yeah, he was a little rattled by the lights and stuff. But again, that's some of the negatives we're focusing on. But let's focus on the up and ups of this season. We have so many positives. So I'll tick off a couple right here. Julio, massive contract. We got him for the next 14 years.
Yes.
That's huge. Castillo, awesome trade. Luis Castillo, awesome trade, who we now locked in on a 5-year deal. George Kirby is going to win a Cy Young Award at some point in his career. Mark it.
Bold take.
I don't even think it's that bold of a take. Like,
I don't either.
I mean,
he
it's
showed
great.
he's got that dude in him with, like you mentioned, the closeout.
yeah, I mean the close and today in an elimination game at home, all the pressure in the world is on this young rookie kid, and he throws 7 shutout innings.
Ice.
Ice cold, ice in the veins.
That's all you can ask for, yeah.
George Kirby, positive. Cal Raleigh, we ended up with a catcher that we thought was just going to be a backup. And
Tons
now,
of pressure on him, too, after Murphy went down early in the season. He really stepped the fuck up.
Yeah, he had a stint where he got sent down and had to adjust his swing. He came back with a crazy compact swing and started seeing the ball really well. He worked
Choking
well with
way
the
up on the
pitchers.
bat.
Yeah, it was awesome. He started banging.
He's got that dog, too. You hear the news about him?
they've embraced the nickname.
There's
That, too. He's got that.
And
but
his mom has as well.
his mom has as well, but after the game today, he said, yeah, when his thumb originally got injured, back early mid-September when he was kind of dealing with, quote, thumb issues for a month, he actually tore tendons in his thumb that chipped off a part of the bone, and he's been catching and hitting through all that. Caught 18
Disgusting.
innings today
Yeah,
with a
he caught
broken
the whole
thumb.
game.
Think about your thumb being overextended so many times that the
don't want
tendon
to.
is pulling off a part of the bone, and you just keep supporting it as well as you can and playing through it as well as you can. Like by the end of the game tonight, his swing.
Yeah, I saw it earlier. Like, he took a foul ball off his thumb in, what was that, like the 7th or 8th inning at that point? And
Who
after
knows?
that,
It all blurred together
it all
after
blurred.
hour 5.
it all blurred together. But yeah, after that, you could kind of see he was just wailing at pitches with essentially one arm. Like, his top hand, his left hand, for him when he's batting lefty, was essentially useless.
He was letting go early and
Yep.
trying the best to put the barrel on it.
And there was a point in like the 16th or 17th inning, he took another foul ball off of his thumb, and he actually had to stop play, and he had to go and get like additional wrapping on his thumb, and then it was the middle of that bat, takes another foul ball after being in the crouch for 6 hours, takes a foul ball off his already annihilated thumb, had to stop, got it wrapped up a little bit more, and got right back in the crouch. The dude is a beast. And I think in days where now most teams rotate catchers, and like the day of like kind of that Iron Man old timey catcher is kind of gone, which is fair. It's a lot of hard work out there. I think Cal is bringing it back. Cal is that kind of dude.
Yeah, he toughed it out 100%. We have 2 catchers on our bench that we didn't use in an 18-inning game. That just shows where Cal's at. When he had his equipment failure, he took a foul ball off his glove, his thumb. He like flipped off his glove, and the thing came flying out of his glove and his finger. And he was like, yeah, I need a new thing. They couldn't find the right thumb holder,
Yeah.
so they just grabbed him like a full on wrist thumb like supporter, and he's like, yeah, just throw me something. Like, we have 2 strikes right now. Like, throw me that stupid strappy thing. I'm gonna put it on and go catch like 1, 2 more. This game is over. We're backs against the wall. And he just toughed it out till the end. He was like, I don't give a fuck what you give me, just something. I need something.
Dude's a badass.
Yeah.
That's probably a game 90% of catchers will come out of. You know, if they're already wearing a thumb brace, they break that thumb brace. They've already got a broken thumb. Like 99, I'll say 99% of catchers come out of that, and Cal's the 1% that is like, nope, I'm not leaving this game.
He's hurting bad in that moment, for sure.
And that's a tribute to this team. Like, you can see all the guys care so much about each other and trying to do the best for their teammates. And that's a really big positive takeaway we've had this whole season, is just how much, like, these dudes want to win. They want to win together. They're all, like, buddies. It's amazing.
As I pulled up to come here and record this, they were interviewing Suarez still in the clubhouse, and you know, he was on the verge of tears multiple times during this, but he was just saying how, like, it's so special, man, what they have going on. He commended the GMs who brought him in, the whole team, their whole energy and fight, how everyone, the fans, have supported him. And he was just talking about how he feels like this is something special. Castillo's here. Like, Julio's here. Like, we're here, you know, but he knows that he has to wait till next year, get healthy. Everyone needs to get healthy. And he's talking about all these things and just being grateful for having this opportunity and having this rise with a team that hasn't been there for so long. It's so special for, like, every dude that doesn't have playoff experience, every fan that doesn't have playoff experience.
Shoes on their head, not knowing what the fuck is going on.
I took off the Griffies. I put my shoes on my head about 7 different times today. I mean, we had 18 innings. There was a lot of time to put shoes on your head, and I did it multiple times. Also, it's shockingly easy to balance a shoe on your head. Just one, because, like, they're evenly supported, so you just pop that right in the middle of your dome. It balances shockingly well. I didn't have to, like, hold it or anything.
I saw people anxiously rocking back and forth, and their shoes are rocking with them. And yeah, it's like a nice counterbalance.
Yeah. And I want to give so much props to the crowd tonight. I mean, I was a part of it. 18 innings, the crowd was screaming and chanting and cheering for every single pitch, every single out, every single hit for all 18 innings. It did not die down. This fan base is hungry. They love baseball. They love the team. And I think it's finally shown that the owners are like, oh, shit, if we spend the money and put a good product on the field, more people will come to support. And every single fan there, I mean, just everyone was into it. Everyone's high-fiving, hugging each other, cheering. It was the most attentive and enthusiastic crowd I've ever been a part of in my life. It was amazing. It was phenomenal. And I just know next year it's going to be even bigger and better.
50,000 people hanging around for 18 innings of goose eggs.
And it didn't slow us down a bit.
It's just the alcohol wasn't flowing for the last game of the game.
For the other 9 innings. And yeah, I mean, it's just, Seattle is a baseball town. Seattle's a sports town. We cheer on our teams, and we cheer hard, and we love hard. And it hurts, and it's sad, and I'm devastated, obviously, but on the same side, like, it's, you know, 2 sides of a coin. One, for me to be this sad is because the Mariners were so good and gave me so much joy this year. I've sat through 20 years of the season ends, and you're like, well, shit, on to the next one. Next year's probably going to be our year. This year was legitimately a year for us. We have so many great pieces. Everything has been cooking. It didn't pan out when we wanted it to, but we still went toe-to-toe with one of the best teams in baseball for all 3 games. And the Mariners are scary, and they're going to be nothing but better next year.
We do have some free agency questions, which we're going to talk about more in the future because we will continue to podcast, even though the Mariners season is over. But we do have free agency questions. Like, we have Santana, we have Frazier, we have Haniger, all going into free agency. I'm not sure who else, but those are the 3 guys that really come to mind for me.
I want Santana here next year so bad. I love the energy he brought to the team. I love the vibes that he brought. And also the hustle. That dude hustles hard. He's 36, and he's like on the bigger side where you wouldn't consider him to be like quick or like kind of like a hustle guy. That dude runs hard all the time. And he can play first base. He can DH. With the banning of the shift next year, Santana needs to be on this roster. I would go as so far as to say that would probably be the most important signing, even more so than Mitch Haniger.
He's been a clutch guy throughout his career. He's just aging a little bit is my only concern.
I agree. Resign Santana.
Yeah, I agree. As Patrick said, he mentioned, you brought it up, Patrick, a couple weeks ago on the podcast, like when we were at the game the day after we clinched, it's like the Bane over squad. Everyone else is hungover. That's the day Santana was still grinding out at bats. Still, he ran out every single ground ball. That was the day he advanced on a semi-passed ball, kind of a blocked ball in the dirt, and he advanced. And he's been a great leader. Julio's saying his praises to the skies. I mean, if nothing else, if he's not we don't have to bring him back as a starter. I hope we get a decent impact bat to be a DH or something next year. But bring him back for, clutch pinch hit situations. He's showed that clutch gene. And just the leadership in the clubhouse has been pretty unprecedented this year.
I could imagine the Mariners offering him a 2-year deal. He's 36.
Yeah, 36.
He's not going to be playing much past 38 years old. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I could see the Mariners offering him that 2-year deal. Be like, stick around, dude. We want you. You're he's a big part of our culture.
What do you think about a 2-year, 10 mil, 5 mil a year?
Sure, that's it. I think that we could pay him more, but
think
I
so?
think we could lowball him, but give him a little more incentive.
Maybe 7 mil a year, 2-year, 14 mil.
Sure, 7.5, 15 mil 2-year.
Okay. Oh, see now with that, I don't. I mean, 2 years.
There's nothing on our books for a long time. It's just you're here till the end of your career. Do what you can. Help us be what we can be. I don't think that's a big cost.
No, I agree. And I guess when you take into account the leadership qualities and stuff and the clubhouse presence, yeah, I could see 2 years, 15 mil. I'm all on board for that. Another big question mark, Mitch Haniger. I think Haniger would want to return. I think that if he wasn't injury prone, he would see himself getting a big payday somewhere else. Unfortunately, the lingering injury issues are a problem, and that definitely affects his market value. But I could see him wanting to return and possibly taking a bit of a pay cut to be here. I would like to have Haniger around. Although if he does leave, I don't feel like it would make or break the team. I feel like, unfortunately, and it feels kind of weird saying this out loud, but I think as the season ended, Santana had more of an impact on the team than Mitch Haniger did, unfortunately. But it's just the way it goes sometimes.
Mitch Haniger. We love Mitch Haniger.
Yes.
Mitch Babe has been my guy. He's such a hard asset to try to sign at this point. I can't. It's hard to say, but without Mitch Haniger, it seems like it opens up a lot of options for the Mariners.
We could get Taylor Trammell more playing time, see if he blossoms a bit more, and have a really young, fast outfield.
If we're going to stick with Jared Kelenic, he would be a good right fielder. His defense has actually impressed me a lot.
Kelenic or Trammell?
Kelenic.
Kelenic and right.
And I like Trammell a lot, of course, but Kelenic's defense has impressed me a lot.
Yeah, and he's got a nice arm. He's got a nice hustle. I would not be beefing with Kelenic, or I guess Trammell in left, Julio obviously in center, and Kelenic in right.
Don't forget we have Winker because he is going to be in left.
I already forgot
Although
about
we
Winker.
want to make sure that he DHs as much as possible, he will work on his defense because it's been dismal. He knows it's bad. He's embarrassed for sure, dude. He's going to work on his defense, but he's a left fielder for a reason. He doesn't have an arm.
Yeah, that's true. And then I guess the other one is Frazier. I like the turnaround Adam Frazier has made. He's got a decent bat, and he's definitely showed it during the second half of the season. And I feel like his defense slightly improved throughout the year. He's not going to win any Gold Gloves at second base.
He didn't make a diving play today. Like I said, I don't think I've seen him make one diving play, which is my problem. I'm like, his defense can be good. He can be rangy, but like, if he can't make a diving play at second base, then what are we doing? Like, I like Adam Frazier, don't get me wrong, but like,
I like his
second
bat more
base
than
is-
anything.
Yeah.
second base is a divey ass position. Fucking, you got to be able to make a play on the dive.
True. So I would say if we were tiering, at least for me personally, how I would tier our free agents, I would definitely go Santana, number one priority, then Mitch, then Frazier. The only issue is I don't think second base is really popping off in the free agent market.
It's really not.
So like how are you going to fill the slot at second? Ty
Okay.
France playing second with Santana at
You could
first?
pay Trey Turner a shitload of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the issue is I unfortunately see a world where we extend Frazier instead of Haniger, even though he's like a veteran leader, can play outfield. You can DH him when you want a more defensive, speed-oriented outfield. And that's not to hate on Adam Frazier. I mean, he's been so clutch for us. He won us a game in Toronto in the playoffs.
That's true, that double.
Yeah. But I think, honestly, out of free agents, there's no second base free agents really this year, but there are shortstop free agents, and I'm the biggest JP Crawford fan out there. I have his jersey, but I wouldn't hate signing like a Xander Bogaerts or a Trey Turner and shifting JP to second base. We've got him locked up for 5 years. He's brilliant defensively. He probably hits more like a second baseman than like a power shortstop like Bogaerts and Trey Turner. And I think this series has kind of shown that our biggest need is another really big clutch bat because our hitting has been so streaky.
It'd be great for the Mariners to sign one of those guys. Xander Bogaerts and Trey Turner are the biggest names on the shortstop market. We've seen recently that middle infielders or infielders in general will be able to transition positions like that. Trey Turner's done it already.
Yeah, and Story on the Red Sox, he was a shortstop in Colorado. He signed with the Red Sox and transitioned over to second. Like, you could do the same thing with JP Crawford. I guarantee you he's a cool enough dude. He won't take it, like, personally. It's just, or you could even put Bogaerts or Turner at second, and I don't think any of them would take it like, oh, this is a demotion, you know?
Yeah, dude, I think they would all love to work with each other up the middle there. Think about any combo of JP with Turner or Bogaerts. That's awesome. Either way, like either position they play.
I see a lot of double plays happening if that's our infield up the middle.
And Turner's already played second base. Like, he's willing to do that as well.
Yeah.
Also, if I'm not mistaken, Turner is kind of an all-around guy, too. Like, if you needed to pop him in left field for a game, you could, right? Like, it's not like you want him to, but it's the same as, like, having Haggerty in left field.
I don't think you want to. It's just kind of like you can, but it's kind of like...
That's what I'm saying.
But
Like,
he's saying the
think
same
he'd
way
have-
that we've been putting Adam Frazier in the outfield here and there. It's like you don't want to do that.
but you can.
You could,
yeah.
sure.
So,
If you
and
had
I
an
think Trey
injury,
Turner kind of that one thing that I'm a real big fan of Trey Turner. I really like his speed, and I think the Mariners have definitely transitioned into a speed team. Lots of stolen bases, lots of advancing on pass balls, stuff like that. And I feel like Trey Turner really fits that mold. And that is one other downside about Adam Frazier is he is not quick.
Having speed helps that defensive prowess as well.
Definitely. A lot of range. I personally, I don't know how JP, I feel a little bit different than Nate does about JP willing to transition to second base. I could see him being cool with it, but I also could kind of see him being like, hey, you signed me as a shortstop. This is the position I play. I want to be the shortstop. And I don't necessarily fault the guy for it. And again, this is all just hypothetical. I haven't talked with JP recently.
Pure speculation.
I don't know his opinions on switching a second.
I mean, he's Carl Crawford's like nephew or something. So maybe, I don't know. Maybe he's got that dog in him, and he's like, nah, this is my position. And if you sign a new guy, he has to play that other position. Fuck that.
Friend of
Who
the show,
knows?
JP Crawford.
Yeah. I'll text JP right now.
Hey JP,
Ask
you're
him how he feels
invited.
about it.
You're invited to come have an interview. You can come hang out with us, JP. It's open invitation.
Oh, another, as we're still talking about like positives and stuff in the season, how amazing our bullpen was. And also, Casey Sadler was last year, he had something like 21, 23 appearances in a row without allowing an earned run. And unfortunately, this year, he was still going to be our dude, and he blew his arm out in spring training. Got the old soggy arm there in spring training.
Yeah, he sure did.
Got real soggy.
But like as good as he did last year, other dudes this year stepped up to fill that role, like in combination, right? Like Swanson took a huge step forward and was shut down as a right-hander with his split. And then also, I was going to say, Penn Murphy filled in a great role for Casey Sadler, too. Like, even though he wasn't absolutely locked down numbers-wise, in combination, I think those two dudes really filled the role of Casey Sadler around Sewald, around Munoz taking giant strides.
Oh, Munoz. Honestly,
You know Edwin Diaz.
bullpen pitcher of the year right now. Munoz
Senor
for the Mariners.
Smoke.
Bro, Bombero for life.
Huge positive this year. We found out who our dudes are, like who our dudes are, both on our starting pitching staff and our lineup and our bullpen. We know who our dudes are. Like, we don't even have to name off all 15, 16 of our 26 guys that are absolute dudes, but we know Munoz is one of those, like, yeah, high leverage situation guy out of the bullpen. Like, that's the guy you want facing like the 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4 guys coming out of the pen. And that's why I kind of like not having a conventional closer with the Mariners, because you could say, oh yeah, Munoz should be our 9th inning closer guy. But okay, what if you come up in a high leverage situation in the 8th inning and you have their 2, 3, 4 hitters coming up? Who do you want to put in? Do you want to put in a setup guy, or do you want to put in Munoz? I want to put in Munoz 100% of those times.
Yeah, man. And we used him a lot this playoffs in high leverage situations like you're talking about, where like no matter when they come up, if it's the late innings, 7, 8, 9, those are usually when the highest leverage situations come about because the pressure is mounting and you can see the end of the game. You can plan out who's pitching against which batters. Using Munoz in the highest leverage situation is hugely beneficial. That's what you should be doing. Like Edwin Diaz for the Mets is a 9th inning closer and sometimes 8th and 9th inning closer. Munoz is comparable pitcher, by the way, has more flexibility where you can use him anytime from the 6th to the 9th inning, wherever you want him, because you have the other pitchers lined up matchup-wise to see the end of the game by then.
And also talking about Munoz just kind of growing over the season. He was shaky to start the year. His control was way off. He was overthrowing and couldn't really find the zone. And he did nothing but improve the entire season. Like, it just seemed like every time he came out to pitch, he just got a little bit better. And by the end of the season, he's one of the most dominant relievers I've seen in quite.
out.
Yeah, I mean, he's
Working
awesome.
on that 90-mile-per-hour slider. Come
Yeah,
on,
like
man.
the fact that he throws 103 miles per hour and the fastball isn't even his best pitch. That's crazy. Like, he's dominant. And with Sadler coming back, that's just another boost to this already dominant bullpen.
I hate to bring up the Astros right now, but we saw Hunter Brown, another rookie, out of the bullpen for the Astros, throwing a 93-mile-an-hour slider, 98-mile-an-hour fastball, like late in the game against us, or late in the traditional late game. I think he pitched like 8th, 9th inning. I don't know. He was pitching in a...
Oh, that's early.
But he
Yeah, that was
ninth
early.
inning.
He did pitch 2 innings.
What is this,
and he
Little
pitched,
League?
Yeah, talk to me when it's the 14th.
He looked nasty. His curveball is awesome. His fastball is awesome. Like, he's another guy to watch out for. That's gonna be electric. He's another rookie, and I was surprised by Hunter Brown.
I hate it how the Astros always find these dudes. Like, it makes me sick. You're like, oh, we're in like their last guy of the bullpen, and it's like, oh no, it's a rookie that throws a 93-mile-an-hour slider and 98-mile-an-hour fastball, and he dropped a few nice curveballs in there too. It's like, dude, their player development is insane.
They know what they're doing in Houston. They do.
Can you guess who they left off the roster instead of that guy? Like, they put him on the roster instead of Will Smith, the pitcher for the Braves, who was a World Series champion last year. He was not on the roster because Hunter Brown is there. Like, that's freaky.
And Pena too. I mean, God, that his home run today, the only run of the game was brutal. But like, they let Carlos Correa walk, like perennial All-Star World Series champion, been in the ALCS 5 times before he walked. And they were like, yeah, we can let you walk because we have this new young guy that we've developed to be so good named Jeremy Pena. But screw him, Julio's Rookie of the Year.
Haha, suck it, Pena.
Pena's got that look in his eye, though. He's no joke. He's going to be around, and I like that. I was hoping that Julio would hit that home run in his face, too, back like
Yeah.
in the 18th, just to tie it right back up and go, like, keep going. But, you know, Julio got the last at-bat for us all season. I was happy that the potential in the table was set for the fairy tale, at least for the tie, you know. But Pena's no joke. He's a good player, too.
I was going to say, though, the AL West is kind of a dog shit division. And honestly, it's now just going to be a battle between the Mariners and the Astros. And we have a new, real significant rival that we can have beef with. Like, yeah, we kind of have beef with the Angels, but they're just kind of like the stupid cousin that your mom makes you hang out with when it's like a family gathering. That's the Angels, and you like pretend like you're like, yeah, we'll do this, but you hate them. That's the Angels. The Angels
sure.
are the dumb cousin. And
We're the younger brother of the Astros.
yes, and hopefully the Astros get in like a biking accident or something, and then you can like punch them while they're hurt. And that's gonna be the Mariners.
Hit 'em
Like,
while they're down.
yeah, like
Let's
being the
go.
annoying younger brother. The Mariners are on the up and up, and I don't see the other teams in the AL West getting any better. The Rangers spent like $500 million on their middle infield between Corey Seager and Marcus Simeon
Yeah.
at second.
The Rangers have a lot of potential to get better. Their
They have a
pitching
lot of
has been
potential to
bad.
just keep blowing.
Their bullpen is really bad, but they're putting together pieces. Like, if you look at their season, if you watched their season, you'd understand because you've seen the Mariners be in that spot a lot of times. But like, they do have pieces, and I think they could head in a good direction soon and be competitive.
I don't see it. I don't see the Rangers ever being good. I see the Angels continuing to waste the careers of Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout, and the Oakland Athletics God, someone just put that team out of their misery. Just take them behind the woodshed. Like,
Well, Shohei Ohtani, he's after next year, he's going to go into free agency. So the Angels are going to try to trade him to get something for him next year.
yeah, that was definitely something we discussed too, because I was like, well, I don't think he's going to stay on the Angels, but I think he'll ride it out. And you were like, well, they're not going to let him walk for nothing, so you might as well try to make some good trades.
They're going
for
to
him.
trade him next year.
It's gonna
for
be
sure.
the most bullshit 1 person for 8 player blockbuster trade of a fucking century.
It's a little bit different than Juan Soto, because Juan Soto had a little bit of controllability. Like, that's a big trade. But Shohei, you only get for that half a year, and you have to extend him. So you trade for him with the intention of signing him immediately.
The reason the Rangers aren't going to be good is exactly what Matt mentioned. They have a shaky bullpen, and they've collapsed a lot of games this year. And, I mean, who are the 2 teams to come out of the West? The 2 teams with literally the 1 and 2 best bullpens, speaking ERA-wise and average against, in the AL West. I mean, that's crucial. Like, the series was tough for us because it was the first time we came up against a bullpen that was as good or better than ours. Most of the time, 99% of the season, we have the advantage in the bullpen over every other team. But the Astros, they're right there. They're just as good. They shoved for 9 innings of shutout bullpen work also.
They have crazy depth in their pitching. It sucks to see motherfucking Rafael Montero
Oh my God,
ripping us a
Montero.
new one in the damn playoffs.
I calls him Rafael Monterable.
For the Mariners, he was
so
Rafael
bad.
Monterable. God, I could not wait. I was so glad we traded him. He was an add-on to the trade with
Graveman for Toro.
Graveman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Like, we're like, yeah, take Montero too. Get him the fuck out of here.
Oh, it gave me a lot of pain on the broadcast. They brought up the fact that he was a Mariner last year, and they were like, yeah, by the trade deadline when they made the trade, he had a 7.23 ERA, and I was like, yep, nope.
He was walking dudes. That was his problem. So, like, the Astros figured out how to get him to throw strikes and get dudes to chase. That's what they do. Their development's insane that way.
So, also looking into other positives, we have great catching. We have great corner infielders. Our outfield has a question mark on the corners on what we're going to do, and second base has a question mark. But you have a high-powered core, a really young core, and our pitching staff is set. Hopefully, Robbie Ray can go back to a little bit of his old ways, but he's going to strike a lot of dudes out, but he also attacks the zone too much. He's probably still going to get hit hard. I just thought of this. Let's re-sign Flexen, too. Make Flexen a 5th starter. If our pitching rotation is Luis Castillo, number 1, Logan Gilbert, number 2,
Yes.
George Kirby, number 3, then Robbie Ray, number 4, and Flexen in the 5 spot, that is a sick squad.
Yeah, that our pitching staff is pretty nice. Like, we have Marco floating, obviously. Remember how Chris Flexen's option turned into a player option, so he will be here next year if he decides that he wants to be here next year.
I hope so. I hope the
There's
demotion.
no way he doesn't. He's gonna be here.
I mean, what if he's pitched well, and what if the demotion to the bullpen kind of got to him? I mean, it very well could. I think.
I don't think he thinks he has a better chance on the market to get a better place to be. I think he likes the place he's at. I think he knows he has a chance at our starting rotation coming out of spring training next year, that he, like, better chance than Marco Gonzalez has at making our starting rotation. You know what I mean? Like, that 5 spot can be a rotating left and right spot because we only have one lefty. If Marco and Flexen both still hang out, that's kind of a opener Flex Marco spot. And, like, we'd have to sign someone to really fill that hole to push those guys out.
Bail on Marco.
I mean, yeah, but it's just, Those are the options we have at this point.
I came up with a better one.
Cool.
What I would say for me personally, if I was Chris Flexen, I would consider trying out free agency and trying the market. I think that he could be a legitimate third starter on another team. I really believe that.
I just had a horrible idea. What if we went to the Blue Jays and made them way better and they beat us next year? That would suck ass.
It would. And he reverse Kikuchi's it and goes over there and actually pitches well instead of even worse. God, I hate you, Kikuchi.
I'm so glad he didn't pitch against. Actually, I wish he pitched against
I wish
us.
that would have
God.
been awesome. I don't even know if he made the postseason roster.
He was in their bullpen, I think.
They gave him a forced IL stint earlier in the year where they were like, "You're getting shelled so much, you have to say you're hurt so we can get you out of this lineup."
I do like that our only starting pitching debate is who's going to be our fifth starter next year. That is a good.
That's true.
That is a good damn feeling to have. It's okay to have, okay, we look at it, we probably need another bullpen arm, maybe replace like a Castillo. He had his moments this year, but
Diego Castillo.
Diego, not Luis.
Yeah.
Oh God, no. But yeah, like how much can we trust him? He'll be shaky at times. Who knows how long Paul Sewald's gonna be. The Paul Sewald we saw most of this season, not minus the collapse he had in a few postseason games this year. But
Seems like just pressure.
yeah, probably just pressure. But yeah, another bullpen arm would probably be one of our main priorities. And then another bat either up the middle infield or at a corner outfield if we don't re-sign. Or even if we do re-sign Haniger and Frazier. Wouldn't hurt to get really good bat up the middle there. I mean, we've saw today we still lack a little bit of offensive consistency.
It sucks to say, but JP didn't really do a whole lot for us offensively. He's awesome defensively, you know what I mean? But we do need someone to at least platoon with him in the infield, to have a bat, someone to at least put in pinch hit for him when we need a big bat. We need at least a big bat.
See, that was a point. I will actually disagree with that one. I think that it's more probable for JP to just improve at the plate rather than doing like a platoon at shortstop. I'm not a big fan of platooning anywhere except for like corner outfield spots. And I mean, I guess catchers isn't really platoon. It just comes with the territory that you're not going to catch every game. That it's a given. But for platooning a shortstop, I would much rather put my trust in JP just improving at the plate than being someone that would either have to platoon or be pinch hit for. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I wouldn't say that we're going to like split time 50-50 with JP, I'd still have JP started up the middle, fully committed to him having starting games. And he is a skillful hitter. It's not that he doesn't have the skills. He can improve still. He doesn't have the power numbers that we need. He's learned to slap the ball to left field, which is awesome. But if we need someone that can come like off our bench, it'd be nice to have someone with a little bit of punch there. And that's kind of what I mean by platoon. It's like we need someone that can hit a bomb late in the game clutch like Santana can,
Either way, a big bat would help immensely next year.
And I think that's one of the clearly the Mariners need one more impact bat. They're looking good in a lot of situations, and it's just that one real big bat can be the difference between getting swept in the ALDS and not.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's been a great season. We have so much to be happy about. Sure, it's sad right now, but the drought has ended, and it wasn't a fluke. It wasn't a fluky ending. The Mariners have proved that they're a good team. They're only going to get better. The young core is here to stay, and it's nothing but up. And the AL West is going to continue to be nothing but a battle between the Astros and the Mariners.
Absolutely. We've made a statement here. We're beating up on our big brothers. We have a Rookie of the Year, Julio Rodriguez. That's going to be undisputed Rookie of the Year, in my opinion. Other dudes, Adley Rutschman had a great year. Jeremy Pena had a great year, was injured for a while, so he didn't have his full run at it. But Julio Rodriguez had an amazing year and deserves the Rookie of the Year award and will get it.
So again, lots of positives, lots of stuff to be excited about. And I honestly, 4 months, pitchers and catchers report. February, pitchers and catchers report to spring training. And it's nice. It will be nice to kind of wait and see what kind of acquisitions the Mariners make in the offseason. And it's been a great year. I'm so happy for this team, for the fans, for the city. Everything has been great. It didn't end as well as we wanted, obviously, but a lot of stuff to be excited about.
I'm excited that we started podcasting. Do you guys remember once we started podcasting and like put out an episode, the Mariners went on a 14-game win streak?
And they did it solely because of our podcast.
I also got a Mariners tattoo, and they had a fat streak when I did that.
Yes.
So.
Like, we had a big part in this season, guys. Just saying.
I mean, I don't want to toot our pod's horn, but beep, beep. You know what I'm saying?
Positive vibes only runs through this pod. Patrick's wearing his tank right now under his jersey. Only. We are a positive vibes only.
I just want to say Suarez is my favorite Mariner right now.
Fuck yeah.
He's so fucking good.
I love him. His post-game interviews are always so like good and heartfelt, and like
did you see the post?
Tries to find the language, and it's perfect. Like you can tell what he's trying to like say, and it's emotional. It's great. He knows.
Did you
what
see
he's
when
doing.
Scott Service was like, "All right, we're gonna go play the Astros. It's not gonna be easy." And Suarez interrupts him, and he's like, "We got this. I'm ready.
He's about to pop the champagne.
Yeah.
He gave a great interview today. He was like borderline in tears talking about he's really a dude that like loves this team, the guys around him, and loves the city and loves like us fans. Like this is why we need to keep showing out and supporting. He's like, yeah, like without you guys, we wouldn't have got this far. Like, yeah, keep going out to games next year. Buy season tickets. Take out a loan.
And the All-Star game is coming to Seattle next year.
Yeah, next year, the All-Star game's in Seattle. I'm going. You going?
I'm already booked my hotel.
I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm goofing. You goofing?
New boot goofing. Anyways, it's been a great season. There's been a lot of positives, a lot of fun, a lot of laughs, a lot of great times. We are going to do a really big and special next episode. We're not exactly sure when we're going to get to it, but we're going to get all of our guests and all of the surrounding people that have been around throughout the pod for this year. They're all going to pitch in and join in, say some of their favorite moments, favorite players, favorite everything. We're really excited to share that one with you guys as soon as we're able to get everyone together and just keep loving the Mariners and take all the good vibes from this season.
Yeah, I just want to say, even though the season is over, this podcast has just begun. During the off season, we're going to try to make videos. We're going to talk about baseball and other things, and
maybe talk about some T-Birds or something.
Hey, T-Birds are 7-0 to start the season.
Let's go.
Quick undefeated to start the year. They played Everett tonight and beat them 11-3.
Oh my god.
Everett is like the Astros and the Mariners so it's like Astros, Mariners, Everett, T-Birds. And for the T-Birds to give Everett a shellacking like that tonight, big positives. We just love sports, so we'll probably keep talking about sports.
We love beer. We'll talk about beer. We love music. We'll talk about music. We'll also talk about all of the off-season signings that happen.
We'll keep you up to date with all the Mariners shit in the offseason.
We'll be here.
We'll be around, and we're really, really looking forward to our big kind of end-of-the-year send-off, even though it won't necessarily be the last episode for us. It will be like the end of a season, essentially, and it's going to be a big party. We're going to have everyone involved. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're really looking forward to that. Thank you guys so much for spending this season with us. I'm glad you guys like listening to us, and we have just as much fun doing this for you guys. It's really enjoyable, and we're glad you guys like it. Thank you guys so much for being fans, and even though the season's over, we're going to end it with a go Mariners!